It's showtime.
Meeting will come to order, please.
All right, straighten it out next week.
Johanna, would you please read the statement of compliance?
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the press of Atlantic City, Star Ledger, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the municipal website, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. Please turn off all cell phones.
Thank you. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Becker,
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo, Commissioner Blumberg,
Here.
First item for discussion is the engineer's report. Joe, carry on.
Okay, first thing is on, between thoroughfares,
On.
That's on, with the red light's on, you're on.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. Beach thoroughfare dredging, we're probably gonna, have the Tidelands application submitted next week. There's still, Stockton has work to do out there for the, sampling. We did receive a, request for, clarification from FEMA yesterday on the, flood barriers for this, building, which we, provided to them. So it actually looks like they're moving forward on their end as to making that determination finally as what they're gonna do.
It's about time.
Yes, I know. It's really in the bridle path. That's gonna be, when funds are available. We did, the report was submitted for Bayside and Seaside Court. The only really new pending grant application is the one that we submitted for the, ADA access at.
Wait.
Just,
Sure.
I don't want to go too fast through all of those. I met with Ed today, and the Seaside Court and the, what's the other one?
Bayside. Court.
Bayside and Seaside. We did a study there, but we're talking about $500,000 worth of work that has to be done there. So there's no funding for that. It's just the very beginning stages of analyzing where we are. And so we're gonna go out in the field this summer, Ed and I and Frank, and kind of assess it and see how it'll fit into a future capital plan, but that's not imminent.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, the new one, I guess the grant applications we had submitted for the CDBG ADA access at Sumner Avenue. And really, I guess there's, the only really thing out there coming up is the state aid grant application for next year. So that's due on July the 1st, I believe. So you should start thinking about, what road you'd like to put in for next year. Because because you're going to end up needing to do a resolution at the second meeting in June in order to, for submitting to the DOT. Go on to projects in construction. We just recommended a release on the maintenance bond for the 2020 redevelopment of Well 9. Everything's working fine there. We haven't added anything to the projects in closeout. We're still waiting on both of the state aids on Atlantic Avenue. We have on the interior water tank painting. That's going to be basically a anniversary inspection coming up probably later this year, and Firehouse 2. So we have a couple of things that fire department needs to have the contractor address out there, but we're still moving ahead with at least getting everything, the paperwork completed, and then hopefully those items will get addressed relatively quickly. Amherst Avenue, which is the first phase, where the contractor was going to mill and pave, had to get rescheduled due to COVID issues on their paving crews, so they have it rescheduled for next Wednesday and Thursday. Basically, the other piece of Amherst Avenue is complete. They still have to finish the punch list, and there's a piece of the sanitary sewer main that's supposed to get lined. That's probably happening the week of next week, the 23rd. Supposed to be doing the lining. On the municipal building, on the interior renovations, the asbestos abatement's been completed. There were some RFIs the contractor had in order to proceed with some of the framing, so that was sent to the architect. We got that back today, provided it to the contractor, and I know that CM3 was also in there measuring for ductwork, and I guess also ordered the HVAC unit. On the 2021 road program, the work on concrete work on Brunswick's complete. They're now working, finishing the concrete work this week on Claremont Avenue. Next week they are, I believe it is the 23rd, they're going to do some of the restorations, landscaping. Following week, they'll come in and excavate and put the dense graded aggregate in on Claremont Avenue. And then on the week of the 6th, they'll come in and they'll pave base and final pave it. Let's see what else. Yeah,
Can I
sure.
I just want to add to that report. I sent an email out about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I don't know whether you've seen it yet, but I had some correspondence back and forth with a couple of the residents there. They wanted to see us pave the court. So we've asked for a price from the contractor as of today. We've asked to get a price for paving. But it is contingent somewhat on the condition of the water and sewer mains there, because normally we do reconstruction, we do a total reconstruction. This was not a total reconstruction. This was just storm drainage because of specific problems just with the storm drainage. So it was kind of like a curb and gutter program where we just put curb and gutters in, we didn't pave. But I'd like to assess it with the engineers and see what the cost is, see what the condition of the water and sewer. If we can get it paved when they do Claremont, the same contractor on June 6th, we'll do it. If we can't, we can't.
Well, I received 3 phone calls between yesterday and this morning from other residents along Bay Shore concerned about the condition of the roadways. And what I explained to them is we just don't repave a roadway because it's rough riding down. We base everything on the infrastructure that's in the ground. So that's the main concern. Why would we pave and top coat it? You know, the woman that called me this morning said, well, all you have to do, I talked to the contractor, all you have to do is top coat it. But I said, what happens if we have to go in and tear and put water and sewer lines in? So the thing there is, they're gonna have to be patient. They wanted the water issue resolved, and we rode there yesterday, you and I, and looked at it, and you saw that you added, what, 4 inlets there? And, you know, and they were patching the asphalt.
Yes.
And it's good to see if we're solving the problem, which I'm sure it's gonna solve the problem.
Yeah, that's very flat back.
Yeah, and it would be up to Frank and his team to determine where we're at, and you to determine where we're at with the water and sewer in those areas. So you have people all along Bay Shore that want Bay Shore to Fredericksburg Avenue all paved. Because we did Burke a couple years ago, and everybody wants a nice new roadway in front of their house. I get that.
Me too.
Me too.
And I guess the last thing on the list is on the HVAC replacement at the library. That's not going to happen till the fall because of just the long lead time on getting the HVAC units. So, and it's probably going to happen. They're doing a walkway lighting project there, And that's gonna be the same thing as there, that won't happen till the fall either, just because of how long it takes to get the lights now. So, I think that's pretty much it on the report.
Okay.
Question?
Joe, something we've talked about before as a group. Next week when they come in to
Yes.
repave, we've got to have inspectors there.
Yeah, they're,
Every step of
it's,
the way.
yeah, it's all lined up
Okay.
for Wednesday and
Thank you
Thursday,
for that.
both days.
Maureen,
Yeah, I also heard from a couple of people on Bay Shore, and so I just want to ask if we're not already doing it, if Frank can get with Rich and Ed or Joe to just determine whether or not that area should go on our next list. You know, if we think it should. Were we not fortunate enough to have that done by the gas company? The top of from
No,
that
because
they weren't back there when the gas
it was
company
all
did
new.
everything?
They had high pressure,
Yeah, oh, okay.
because the development back there
Okay.
was in the 80s, I guess.
Well, at least if we do our due diligence, we can report back to the folks that, you know, whatever it is. That's the only commitment that I made. All right? Yep. Thank you.
anybody else? John? Okay. Thank you, Joe. And now we'll go to department head reports. We'll start with Chief Adams, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Everything's going well in the fire department. We had a couple glitches, hiccups at Station 2 that we're addressing right now. Nothing major, all minor. We're preparing for the holiday weekend. We had one little setback with the ambulance. We filed for the inspection and found out that we didn't have the proper lettering on the side of the ambulance, so that is coming tomorrow. And we will have the ambulance inspected on Wednesday, the 25th, and immediately upon return, it will be in service for the holiday weekend. Other than that, I just want to thank Public Works for working together with the Gov Deals auction items and assisting with getting Station 2, the landscaping and the sprinkler system in place. Other than that, we have Saturday night the bonfire on the beach with the Margate mothers. We passed the resolution last month, and everything's in place. All insurance, everything is in place, and fire department will be on scene the entire time during the bonfire. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to remind everybody, beach badges are available still at preseason prices until May 31st. I also wanted to let everyone know that in early June, we should have our fencing repairs being done around the pickleball and basketball courts down on Union Avenue. Some of the posts are bending towards Monmouth Avenue, so we're getting all of those replaced. I'm told that it's going to happen right after Memorial Day weekend. Playground, I really don't have an update. They still didn't get the parts. We're hoping for right after Memorial Day to have that ready. They're ready to go as soon as they get the parts to lay the rubber and put the parts in and be done. It'll take a day to do it. And finally, our online reservation system for pickleball is up and running. We have 175 members so far after just a few days. And tomorrow morning is at 6 a.m. is when they can start making reservations for next Friday. So hopefully no glitches or fights. That's it.
Thank you, Andrew. Chief Hankinson?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few brief things. First of all, that we are still moving forward with our park mobile signage along Amherst Avenue. Had a weekly meeting with Park Mobile on Tuesday. We took delivery of the signs, which will be installed next Monday, to be unveiled next Friday when the ordinance goes in effect. Margate has already been configured in the system, so everything is a go for the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. In part and parcel to that, there is now a link on the city's webpage. There's a parking hub. If anybody has any questions, you can click on the link. I set it up through the rec department, through IT and the rec department. Put a nice page on there, kind of answers any questions, how to install the app, different ways to pay. So it's moving forward. And along those lines, just a reminder that we do have 2 other municipal lots that will be able to have access starting Memorial Day weekend. There's a municipal lot that opens on Friday, the 27th. In that municipal lot in the 200 block of Decatur Avenue, there's 18 parking spots and 1 handicap spot. There's also the municipal lot in the unit block North Washington. There's 19 spots there for parking between 6 a.m. and 12 p.m. So there are some alternative sites for a little bit more parking as we move into the summer. We all know parking can be tough to find, and all of us who live here and drive here know parking is a commodity in the summer, so these are just some of the things we're putting in effect to try to ease it a little bit. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Deeney?
I have no special additional reports.
Oh, come on, Rich.
That means
Jody?
everything's good.
Joe, do you have anything else to add at this point? Roger, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Couple items. One is the pool construction moratorium starts in about 2 or 3 weeks. So we've had a full flurry of pool permits come in. Zoning permits, again, lots of pools. Planning board hearing next Thursday, again, 6 cases. Some zoning ordinance review will be coming to your doorstep pretty soon for third floor decks, which is constituting at least 1 case per month. So if we can get rid of that requirement, we'll free up some time for the planning board. Also, front yard fences, I'm working on the ordinance revision for that, for everyone's review. I think it's pretty good. Also, we've been discussing this for several years now, but for the C1, C2, CBD zones, all the commercial districts, is to change the zoning to reflect the flood damage prevention ordinance and allow those floors to be up a little bit higher, or give them the opportunity to raise the sidewalk or raise the building internally to be at least at DFE or DFE instead of flood proofing, which not all the time works. And then also you're squashing the ceiling down. If they want to infill, they can't even do that. They'd have to lift the entire building. So that's one of the zoning ordinance items I want to adjust. Also, the purchasing manual is essentially done. I just have to tweak some things and review that internally. Outdoor dining permits, a lot of those have been coming in. Some have applied and been approved, some have been applied and not been approved, but they've made adjustments. And then there's others that have not been approved, but they are setting up shop outside, so we need to take a look at that. LED street lights, ongoing discussions with Atlantic City Electric. They know where the city wants to go. We're trying to get a game plan together for the right tariff for the city. And also Ventnor Avenue traffic signals, trying to see when the pedestrian buttons will be available for use. Right now they're still covered with bags, so they're not functioning. Ventnor's having the same issue, I believe, talking to Commissioner Landgraf today. They have about 5 more intersections up there to do. So just trying to get on board with that. So, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Roger. Frank, you're up.
Yeah, out on the Parkway, we will be pulling those inkberry bushes very soon. We ordered the Japanese hollies. They'll be going in in the next couple weeks. Yesterday we had the fountains painted, and they will be on around before mid next week. The Washington Avenue Pier, we were down there. We have a power washer that scrubs, and we redid all the wood. And unfortunately, a part on the scrubber broke, and it should be here tomorrow or the next day, so we can continue. The wood is coming out very nice. We have a little painting to go on down there with the pillars and stuff, but we'll have that all finished. We've been working on the beach. We've been raking the beach for over a month now, which we started early this year. The mats are down. We're going to start putting the trash cans on the beach with signage. We are building the steps for Adams Avenue. Hopefully we'll have them installed before next weekend. We started putting the new benches down on the promenade. We'll definitely have them in before Memorial Day. And the library trestle is finished. All the repairs on it. Now we just have to have it painted. We contacted Jim Cahill and Charles, and they basically left it up to keeping it the same colors. So we'll get some prices and have that painted as soon as we can. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank. Mr. Abbott?
Two brief things. First, we have the Rise Against Hate Oprah lawsuit, which we have worked on our response. The court will have a hearing on this in several weeks. This is a situation where an activist has asked for the registration information for people who've registered for our on-solve code red. So if there's a storm or a flood. And we've taken the position that we can't give that on-solve. When you register, it says there's a privacy notice, that they won't release it without a court order. And they've advised us that do not release any information without a court order. And that information would be the people's homes, addresses, phone numbers, and emails, which makes sense. But you never know what a court can do with these Oprah requests. You know, we had the one case where the appellate court reversed the judge most familiar with Oprah decisions, when the young man jumped off the Margate Bridge, and his personal notes that we were ordered to reveal. So I can't predict what will happen with this. I think we're in a strong position. I think Joanna Casey handled it perfectly, but we'll see what the court says. Related to that will be the Daniels Law compliance. What we have is a couple. We have this state legislature. You'll remember when the federal judge, the lunatic lawyer, went to the home and shot killed their son and I believe her husband.
He was
anyhow,
injured, he didn't die.
he didn't die, or you shot him. Legislature passed this law rather quickly, and now all the municipalities have to deal with how do you deal with legal notices? How do you deal with zoning notices? You're not allowed to disclose retired law enforcement, retired judges, federal and state. There's a whole slew of non-disclosure requirements. So when Johanna has been on top of this, I've been studying it, talking to a number of the other towns as to how they intend to deal with it. It's still not quite settled as to how we're going to be able to deal with compliance of Daniels Law and then legal notices for things such as, but not limited to, zoning cases. It's an interesting problem, but I'm sure a solution will come up. That's what I have.
Just to add on to that,
Please do.
quite a few counties have actually
I've
not
read
made
our
available
counties. I've read our counties.
all tax information. You can't get any tax information.
So here it is, yeah, so like, let's say you're a retired federal judge, you can notify the county in writing that you don't want your information coming out on these internets. But that means that record goes somewhere, that retired person is living wherever. I understand it's better than nothing. That's what Atlantic County has done. And maybe that's what the municipalities will do something. But we're not quite there yet, not to that point. And it should be a unified effort. In other words, Avalon and Ocean City and Brigantine and Ventnor and Margate should all be doing it the same way, whatever that is. So we really need some guidance from the state level. They are, I understand, but they haven't passed it yet, so, okay.
Cool. Anything else, Scott?
That's it.
Cool, good. Thank you very much.
But I do want to say one thing. I said it to you
You
privately.
said that was it.
I'm so happy with the recreation thing, because now I have grandkids, as you know, and they're going there. Guys are doing a fantastic job.
Yes,
Well,
Scott, you just weren't a part of it.
It wasn't there.
Get
It
with
wasn't
it,
old
Scott.
enough.
Get
It
with
wasn't old
it.
enough. Now,
He only had
grandpa's
dogs
over
then.
there.
Since day one, Andrew's been doing a great
Well,
job.
I
We know
understand that, but now grandpa's over there seeing it firsthand, and I'm very proud.
Are you supervising?
Listen, we gotta get you out there coaching.
I coached many
no, you
years.
don't need
Well,
to
I
do that.
coached everything. I put my turn in there. Thank you.
Thank you. John, do you have anything?
Yeah, Mayor, I do have two things. Received a call from Janet McCarron, Playgroups Plus. Last year, because of COVID, they had their graduation at Lucy. This year, Lucy's still under construction, and it's not a safe haven for graduation. So she drove around town, and she came up with an idea. I passed it by Rich. I wanted you and Maury to be aware of it, and I asked her to reach out to Andrew. She's looking on Monday, June 6th at 5 p.m., rain date the next night, Tuesday the 7th, on the newly built platform that Dave and John and the Public Works team built on the end of Huntington Avenue. They want to use that as the stage and let the parents bring their beach chairs as they did last year and sit on the beach and watch the kids for their graduation. So she's going to submit to Johanna a certificate of insurance for $1 million liability because it is city property. But I wanted Mike and Marty
That's fine.
to
I'm
be
fine
aware
with
of
that.
that. The other thing
Go for
is, that came up today that I have no knowledge of, and I have JJ here and I have Roger here, and I mentioned it to Roger walking in the door. There's a resident on Fulton, on the corner of Fulton and Pembroke Avenue, where, and they did send me the plot plan for it, where that, I guess it's a drainage outfall, goes to the bay. They're looking to build a deck, I don't know the ins and outs, but they said in the past, we've allowed people to cantilever over one of our easements.
Yeah, no permanent foundation in the easement, but they can cantilever the deck with the knowledge that we have to go in there, we can take it apart.
To access or whatever we need.
So what would be the first step they would have to do?
Just submit like a plot plan, what they want to do.
Okay, and then submit it to you?
Yes.
Okay. You're aware of that outfall, right, on Pembroke?
Yeah.
How wide's the easement, 10 foot?
I'm not sure in particular at that location, anywhere from 10 to 20 feet.
Yeah, well, at the break, I want to show the two of you, before we get into our next meeting, the plot plan that they sent. I'm just going to let them deal with you, Roger.
Can't wait.
Get it off my back.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
At this point, we'll open public comment for 3 minutes for anything that was discussed here today. Is there any public comment? Please come forward and your name and address. Being no public comment, is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes,
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you. We will reconvene 4 o'clock.